Hi, this is Matt, and today we're going to talk about affirmations, and specifically why affirmations suck. Now, an analogy I would use is that affirmations are like when your TV's not working, and so you hit it a few times to see if you can get it to work. Occasionally, that will fix the problem. Oftentimes, you'll fool yourself into thinking that's doing something when it's not actually doing anything. And a lot of the time, if you keep repeatedly doing that, you're actually going to make things worse. Now, there is research on this, that affirmations can actually be negative and can cause you to realize that what you're saying is not true about yourself, which I'll link in the description. But the question is, what can you do instead of affirmations? If you want to do something every morning that can help you connect with an empowering, powerful belief, what can you do? I'm going to give you 3 powerful tools you can use in the morning that are going to be way more effective. Like going into your TV and actually repairing it instead of smacking it when it's not working. So the first tool I'm going to recommend is focusing. Now, if you wanted to use affirmations because you find yourself in a bad emotional state when you wake up in the morning and you want to use those affirmations to get yourself in a positive emotional state, instead of trying to hammer in that positive emotional state, one thing you can do is introspect on your negative emotions and process them. And a really good tool for that is called focusing by Jen. Focusing is like trying to take a really out of focus image of what you're feeling and get it more and more in focus over time. What you do is you just check in with how you're feeling. You notice a feeling and you start trying to describe it. I'm feeling sad. No, it's not quite sad. I'm almost grieving. It's like a sense of grieving, but also relief. There's like this sense of grieving relief. That's not quite it. It's like this sense of grieving relief that has a really open, spacious component to it. Yes, that's it. It's grieving relief with open spaciousness. And all I'm doing is I'm testing out different handles and I'm checking for resonance. It says, oh, that's closer, oh, that's farther away. Keep testing until I have what's called a felt shift. That is, the handle I'm using seems to match the emotion or feeling that I have internally. And again, that's going to be really helpful if you're trying to paper over these negative emotions with positive emotions using affirmations. Instead, you can process those negative emotions, and that's going to allow space for those positive emotions to occur naturally. Now, the second thing you can do is called the work of Byron Katie. And this is really effective if you have some negative generalization about yourself, like I'm not lovable. And you've been trying to use affirmations to paper over that by telling yourself I'm lovable, which again is not necessarily the most effective psychology change strategy. So instead of trying to use this really crude method of just telling yourself a belief over and over, instead what I might want to do is just examine this other belief of I'm not lovable. And the way I do that is with the work. So the work is 4 questions, and what's important about these questions is you don't try to answer them. Okay? I'm not trying to answer the questions. Instead, I'm just holding the questions with curiosity and seeing what arises. I'm also not trying to get an answer. I'm not trying to prove to myself some certain type of answers. I'm just holding the question with curiosity and seeing what arises. I'm going to take that negative or limiting or massive generalization I have that I'm not lovable, and I'm just going to ask these questions. Is that true? Don't try to answer, just hold it and see what comes up. No, it's not true. Can I be absolutely sure that it's true? How do I react when I believe that it's true? Who do I become? What are my behaviors? How would I react if I no longer believed it was true? Who would I be then? Again, just hold it and see what comes up. And you can go through these questions with the same belief as many times as you want and bring more and more nuance into it. And just by doing that, you may start to see that some parts of this belief are functional, some are not, some are true, some are false. You're going to get a much more nuanced understanding of the belief. And you're going to feel a big internal shift if you're doing that every morning. Instead of just telling yourself, I'm lovable, really holding that question of, is it true that I'm not lovable? So the third thing you do, I picked it from Steve Andreas, and it's called memory collection. So rather than trying to figure out what I'm feeling, or question beliefs that I already have. What if I just have this sort of empty space where a belief could be? I don't believe that I'm not lovable, but I also don't believe that I'm lovable. It's just blank if I ask myself if I'm lovable. In that case, I'm going to do this memory collection technique because I need somewhere to store all the evidence that I'm lovable. Once I have that place, then I can notice all these times throughout my life, throughout my day, when it's proof that I'm lovable. But if I don't have that, then I can't do that. So the memory collection technique is a way to create that space to put the evidence that I am in fact lovable. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my memories. I'm going to ask, hey, was there ever any proof, small, big, long, short, when I was young, from yesterday, that says I'm lovable? Well, yeah, there was a time that somebody said they loved me yesterday. Maybe my partner or a family member, they said that they loved me. Boom, put that evidence in the database. Maybe it's like a little square in that database. Now wait for something else to come up. Hey, you know what? People have done really nice things for me that indicate that they love me, even if they didn't say it out loud. I'm going to take some of those nice things, boom, boom, put it in the database. Now I have 4 or 5 of these squares of videos or images of times that I was lovable. Hey, you know what? I remember reading this book that said that everyone is inherently lovable, and that seems true to me. Boom, take it, put it in the database. Now I have 5 or 6 of these squares, and I can just keep doing this for 5-10 minutes, noticing what memories come up, noticing what evidence comes up, and the key part is I'm putting them together in the same space. And then I just leave it. Now I have a place for the evidence to go. As I'm going through my day, and somebody does something nice for me, that can automatically get added to the database because I have a place to put it. So those are my 3 recommendations. If you have been doing affirmations, or if you've been considering doing affirmations, try doing these 3 things in the morning. If you're trying to make yourself feel better and paper over these negative feelings or emotions, then try focusing. If you're trying to get rid of some massive generalization about yourself or the world that feels limiting to you, then try Byron Katie's The Work. And if you're trying to convince yourself of some generalization or some truth about the world that you don't feel internally is true, then rather than just trying to bombard yourself and convince yourself by saying it over and over, actually look through your life and collect the evidence for that belief. And I promise you, if you have been doing affirmations and you try to switch to one of these other 3 techniques, you will notice a difference almost immediately. So try that out. Let me know in the comments if it works for you, and I'll see you next time.